Shop for some of that. We've got Kyle Brandt looking very downtown financier.
Yeah. Business time, Adams. Football season.
Tristan Brandt over here.
Tristan
and we are so excited to have Thomas Davis.
Yeah. What up, T-Roy? How you doing?
Good,
table.
man. Excited to be here.
Yeah, man.
Yes, you played 16 seasons in the NFL, 14 of them for the Carolina Panthers, who I love this year. Feisty young defense. We're going to talk about it all week long with this guy. You also played for the Washington football team, the perfect person to talk Chargers even, and all 32 squads as we get to some highlights. The NFC North tied for O&?
Let's find out. Here we go. Thomas Davis, 4-1 in his career against the Rams. I looked that up. Let's see how the Bears do. Because Matthew Stafford's making his debut, and they got lightning and lights, and so is Andy Dalton. Bears start with an awesome kick returner, huge run by Montgomery, and then on a 3rd and 6, tipped pick. They let the air out of the stadium. Actually, they injected it because the place was going crazy at SoFi Stadium, but the big turnover for the Bears early. And then Stafford. Couple little warm-up plays, and he's enough with this. Why the hell did you bring me? Let it chuck this thing. And boom! That is Van Jefferson. The Bears are allowed to touch him when he's down, which would make him down. They didn't.
Bears DBs had a night, huh?
They really did. Eddie Jackson looking slick in that 4, but that did not get it done. Aaron Donald's like, this is the new Rams. If you thought that was bad, watch this. Thomas Davis, how does Cooper Kupp get this open?
Just blown coverage.
Come on.
All over the field. And this Chicago defense has to be way better than they were last night.
They really do, because this is 2 air balls, whatever the heck they are. The next-gen stats say he has done it. It's way farther than golf, way farther than anybody. I can barely speak this morning. The new hours are a tough adjustment, and so is this. Justin Fields comes on and gets the first touchdown run of his career. Place is going crazy, and then they usher him right off the field. 4th quarter. Stafford in the red zone. He looks at Cooper Kupp and he goes, no! Oh, look at the toe tap. Only we know someone who has a specialty in identifying these types of catches. He'll be joining us later in the show. So what did you say, Thomas?
Toe drag.
Toe drag swag.
Nate's on the show.
Look at McVay. He just wants to kiss Stafford. He might actually do it. Who can blame him? 34-14. Bears hung around for a little bit, but eventually lost by 3 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford, highest passer rating in history for a quarterback making his debut with a new team, and he was all smiles right down to the sweater.
I mean, a lot of anticipation for this game. You know, for me, it's a new experience for me, a new place, new stadium, new fans, the whole deal. But this team has embraced me, and I really appreciate that. You know, I've done everything I can to try to, just work as hard as I can and get myself in this team. And they wrapped their arms around me and felt good to go out there and play with them tonight. Such incredible players on this team. I'm lucky to be a part of it. I want to do everything I can to try and lead this team to where we want to go. Obviously, this is just one. Got to keep building on this, but it felt great to get out there and go play.
Big night for Stafford and LA. The NFC North lost their games all out the gate. They are combined tied at the bottom for 0-1. As far as the NFC guys, the Rams made it a clean sweep for the NFC West. All 4 teams 1-0. What did you make, Peter, of the Rams win over the Bears last night? Kyle, I'm sure, is just itching to talk about it, but I'm starting with you.
Yeah, I'm going to start with the Rams side of it because it was a thing of beauty. And, since March when they made the trade, I've been on this show and like, Stafford's going to be amazing. They're going to throw for 5 million yards. And very rarely do those things actually happen. It looks like it might happen. Like, they were unbelievable last night through the air. Let's take a look at the 2 long passes because the stat that they gave was it's the first time a player joining a new team has thrown 50-yard touchdown passes in the same game since 1968. It was insane what they were doing. This was to Jefferson, obviously terrible tackling there, but then the other one to Kupp, which you said, Thomas, was just blown coverages, but Stafford identifies it right away. This is the one I love. 3rd and 13 late. It's still a game. Cooper Kupp. Fight! It reminded me of Mark Ingram in the Super Bowl. Mark Ingram's father in the Super Bowl. Giants and Bills just on a 3rd down fighting for it. This is what they have. They have the long game. They have the short game. Stafford looks so comfortable, so happy. The Bears' front 7 is nothing to blow your nose at. That is a good front 7. Stafford hung in there. They established a run with 74 yards on the ground, and then they were able to do it through the air. Rams are going to be a team you're going to have to worry about. They're going to be playing late into this season.
Yeah, so when you look at these 2 teams, you really thought that the Bears would put up a much tougher fight for this Rams team. When you look at this defense, some of these mistakes that were being made by this secondary were very uncharacteristic. When you look at Eddie Jackson, on the back end, you would have thought that he was a rookie. He knows that you have to touch guys down. This is not a college football game where you go down and you're down. You got to touch guys down, and you have to communicate on the back end. The Bears absolutely helped them have a much better debut for Matthew Stafford than a lot of us really thought.
No, you're supposed to really pull the rug out, right? You're supposed to make it uncomfortable for them. It was like they went out of their way to have the Stafford thing work. And you mentioned Eddie Jackson. He's going to have to be a lot better for them this year. The Rams look good. Stafford looks awesome. The McVay thing looks like it's going to work. We'll watch them next few weeks going forward. It'll be really much easier for them if next week they play the Colts, and maybe the Colts decide to start Jacob Eason at quarterback. Yeah. And then the week after that, they play the Buccaneers, and maybe Arians will be like, let's go with Blaine Gabbert and just give Brady a few snaps. Let's also play our second best quarterback, and if they do that, they might go 17.
You thought they should have gone Fields?
What do you mean?
I mean, Dalton looked all right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dalton looked all right. We'll get into it in the show. If we're going to do the death by Dalton thing, which apparently they're going to do, I don't know how anybody watches that game and is not like, hello? Fields is incredible. How do you watch that? And maybe next week we'll watch it again.
What makes the Rams so hard to defend? Because you're bringing up Eddie Jackson. There's mistakes on the secondary side, of course, but also they were just running free all night. And was it the confusion they were rolling out there?
I think they do a good job of confusing guys, but they have a ton of receivers that they throw at you. And when you add a guy like Matthew Stafford at quarterback, it's going to make for a long day. That's the position that this Rams offense has been searching for. Jared Goff, he was serviceable, but now they have a guy that can take them to the next level.
Your Super Bowl team.
There it is, and this is the team I have them playing against, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
They were up against the Browns. Browns came in there into Arrowhead, and they were ready for a fight. The new graphics package looks awesome.
Yeah, it does look pretty good. It's ready.
To the producers, whoever put that together. Let's go. 10-0 in September, Mahomes, but the Browns are a Super Bowl contender for sure. 1st and 10, Baker hands it off. And this is what you're going to see a lot of this season. That guy can play. Nick Chubb with a new contract, 18-yard touchdown. We're talking a lot about Georgia players, aren't we, Thomas?
Yeah,
wow.
sure.
And dogs.
Stafford, Chubb, who else? I don't know. Mahomes has won 5 of the last 6 games when he's trailing by 10 or more points. Well, sure enough, they're trailing by 10 or more points. And Mahomes hits his guy, Kelsey, touchdown. We've got a ball game. They're right back in this thing. Kelsey loves it, obviously. Then we go to the 4th quarter. Chiefs trailing by 9. And here it is, Mahomes doing Mahomes things. Look at this pass. And then Tyreek. Sorry. You can't do the deuces at someone, but you can do it like to the ground.
You can do it. It's like the Matumbo block. Do it to the crowd, not to the player.
No taunting penalty. Mahomes so fired up. It's a 1-score game. Hill would have 11 catches for nearly 200. And then the play. I mean, you're waiting for a play. When's the game breaker going to happen? And this is it. Jamie Gillan, the Scottish Hammer, fumbles the snap. He's tackled at the Browns 15. Baker is beside himself. Ensuing Chiefs possession. That guy's happy. 3rd and 3. Mahomes, a laser to Kelsey. Get in there. Touchdown. All right. Somehow, some way, they were down 12 2 seconds ago. Well, now they're winners. 33-29. Baker played well. Mahomes played better. 27 of 36 with 3 touchdowns. Picking up right where he left off the last AFC Championship game, or the last time they played, not from the Super Bowl. This was the Chiefs that we were used to seeing. Here's Mahomes on how big that 12-point comeback was late for the Chiefs.
I think we just have a lot of belief in this team. We've been in those situations before, and we think that we can win no matter what the situation is. And then getting that play to Tyreek kind of got the crowd back into it. And when you're at Arrowhead and that crowd's rolling, it gets the defense going, and it kind of translates to the offense. And so I'm just glad that we found a way to win against a really good football team.
Kyle, I picked the Browns to go to the Super Bowl, to lose to the Packers, because Baker Mayfield, to me, hasn't proven that he can do the big thing. They made all the adjustments, added on defense, all of it. Can Baker do it? This is now the 2nd straight game that I have seen Baker Mayfield with the ball in his hands going down the field to try to win a game, and it does not happen. What did you make of that? And, of course, the Chiefs' comeback win, which I didn't doubt for a second.
That Packers pick looks rough this morning, too. Well, a lot of our picks look rough, but that's okay. 22-10, they were up. It reminds me of Hall of Famer Alex Karras, who played Mongo in Blazing Saddles, and the line is, don't shoot him. That'll just piss him off. That's how it is with the Chiefs. Now, they just get mad. They blinked. You can't blink against these guys. And we love Nick Chubb so much, and he's such a good player. Had a huge fumble in the middle of this game. And Nick Chubb is not a fumbler. There are fumblers, and there are non-fumblers, Thomas. You know it. Nick Chubb is not a fumbler, and they ripped this thing out, and this changed everything. You can't just have a fumble in the middle of the game against the Chiefs. You'll lose. And then you can't have your punter drop a snap. You'll lose by 20 points. You can't blink. And Kevin Stefanski said it perfectly afterwards. He said, We didn't play well at our biggest moments. We didn't coach well at our biggest moments. You don't have to have a perfect game, but you almost have to have a no-hitter. And a fumble and a drop snap, it's over. Like, it is a wrap. You cannot do that against these guys or you lose. And Mahomes still hasn't lost to any of these guys. Never lost to Baker, never lost to Josh Allen, never lost to Lamar. Just keep cruising.
Yeah, you sit back and you watch this Browns team and you know that they're loaded with talent. They come out, they perform at a high level, they're getting the job done, and you start to think like, okay, maybe they figured it out. Maybe they understand what it takes to get the job done. And then as the game just sort of goes on and you just see Mahomes start to find his rhythm, start to find his way, and you know he's been in this position over and over. It's almost like they start out like this just so that they can come into these games.
They like it.
With him being 11-0 in September, I think that is a phenomenal stat for Patrick Mahomes and what he's been able to do in his time as a quarterback in this league, man. And this Chiefs team, as they continue to go throughout this season, if you don't do a good job of stopping these two guys, you got to stop Travis Kelce and you got to stop the cheetah. And nobody has been able to do that yet, man. Somebody has to come up with a game plan that's going to neutralize those two players and force somebody else on that team to beat you.
It's a credit to Mahomes. It's also a credit to like the coaching staff that every week one, when every team has all summer to prepare, Andy Reid has the perfect game plan so that no matter what you've got, and Stefanski had a game plan and Joe Woods had a game plan, but in that second half, it's like, all right, how are you going to stop this? It's a locomotive, it's a snowball. And to your point, all offseason it was, is the offensive line going to be able to hold up because we saw the Buccaneers do it to the old? They did. And then it was, who's going to step up in that number 3 role because Sammy Watkins is no longer there and they need that third guy. They might not need a third guy. Kelce and Hill are that good, and they were so good. I mean, 11 catches for, look at these numbers. That's with everyone on defense knowing that you just got to stop these two guys.
But Thomas, Peter, the Browns loaded up on defense in the offense.
Well, JOK wasn't on by guy Kelce the whole. He was on him once, and I mean, Kelce got the best.
JOK, for anybody not watching the show the last week. He's this rookie, and you're right.
Defensive Rookie of the Year pick. I thought they got him literally from the blueprint of this game where Kelce did whatever they want for over 100 yards. Traeger, I interrupted you, and I apologize.
No,
I thought that would be part of the game plan. Let's bottle up Kelce.
It wasn't just him. They got Clowney, John Johnson, all these guys. Doesn't matter.
It was one guy that was extremely excited about Tyreek Hill's performance.
Yeah.
Because this is my first time playing fantasy football.
Oh!
You had him?
I'm new to the fantasy game.
How was it?
And he was my starting receiver.
There you go. How'd it feel?
197 yards and a touchdown.
It's crazy.
Always remember your first, don't you?
He helped me win, man.
Thomas, we're just getting to know you. Quick question. What jersey number did you wear during your career?
Yeah, we don't know.
Which is 73? Oh, 58. That's awesome. It looks good on you, man.
I appreciate it. Hey, I didn't start out at 58, though. I was 47. I was a safety when I came into the league.
Yeah.
Do you have a name for your fantasy team?
Dogging it.
Yeah.
Dogging it. All right, we're going to talk about...
DAWG?
Yep.
Like the Georgia
Like the dogs. Come on, man.
We're going to talk about the Panthers. We're going to talk about the Dolphins who got to win, the Bengals who got to win. All those highlights ahead. Ian Rappaport's joining us right now. More highlights on the way. We'll give respect to those teams. It is well-deserved. The Steelers, too. I see you, Steelers. But let's talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Some bad news. Went down with an injury early in Week 1. What is the latest on the veteran quarterback? Is Washington looking for another quarterback? Perhaps one whose name rhymes with Shmam Shmootin?
Well, we'll get to the injury first for Ryan Fitzpatrick, starting quarterback for the Washington football team. Sources say that he has a hip subluxation, which essentially is a dislocated hip that goes back in the socket. Very painful injury, and he is going to have an MRI this morning, pretty quickly actually, just to determine how much damage was actually caused when the hip subluxed. This could go a couple different ways. This could be an extremely serious injury for the Washington football team where Fitzpatrick does not play at all this season. It could be relatively minor just based on how much damage was actually caused during the point of the injury. At the least, it's looking like Fitzpatrick's going to be out several weeks, and based on the injured reserve rules, certainly a stint on IR makes a lot of sense. So it's going to be Taylor Heineke going forward, and then Kyle Allen, who was the third yesterday, is going to be the backup. So yes, let's talk about Cam Newton, because that is what everybody wants to know. Obviously, Ron Rivera had him in Carolina. He is a free agent. He is available. My understanding, though, Kay, is that the Washington football team is going to look inward first. Go with Heineke and Kyle Allen first. Those are the guys they're going to take a look at and ride with before any exterior signing. So as far as the Cam Newton to the Washington football team, I would not say that, not this morning.
Chase Young, happy to hear that news. I'm sure he is banging the table for his guy, Taylor Heineke. Thank you so much, Ian. We'll talk to you throughout the day with more injury news, of course. Huge Week 2 NFC East showdown. It's just a couple of days away. That's the best part when the season finally starts, guys. It rolls.
Yep.
We got football in a couple of days right here. The Giants taking on the Washington football team, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can see it right here on NFL Network. More highlights. You know what I read in the paper this morning, Kyle? LASIK surgery growing exponentially overnight after Jameis Winston